after the morning. So I would say that the good news is that, it's 3:02 now. I'll wait till 3:05. But I think that the good news is that a lot of the students should, in theory, know how Google Classroom works for the most part because they were doing it all spring. Obviously, it's going to be harder for the little kids who probably still need, a lot of help working their way around it. But even with that, my daughter is going into she's going into third grade, and she learned a lot about Google Classroom just, by me helping her this spring. So that's the good news, is that a lot of the students who are local and all the local districts were using Google Classroom. So like I said, let's just wait another minute or two here. Yeah. Hi, Kathy. Oh, there. You're muted. You're muted, Kathy. I think you can unmute yourself.
Okay, I just did.
There you are. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are all of you?
Good. And of course, I haven't seen you in forever. I do the Sunday school with Kathy, and that obviously came to an abrupt halt, like everything else in life. Okay. We're just waiting a few minutes here, Kathy, for anybody else who kind of wants to jump on. I'm going to start at 3:05.
Okay.
And I also am recording this so that if people want to go back and look at it, or, there's obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of people who couldn't log on to this today, so they can watch it. I'm going to send Peggy the YouTube link for it.
Now, do we have to ask the kids or the parents, or they automatically send a disclose that it's okay for us to record the classes?
Well, I'm recording this. You don't have to record your sessions.
Oh, because actually, yesterday when I watched Brian's Google meeting, he said we should record them.
Yeah, I think
that's good. That's going to be a privacy issue. If you would have to get permission from the students.
Oh, really?
From the parents.
Okay, Suzanne, maybe Maria should send something else saying, like, don't do that then. All right.
Yeah, that's just for, like, in other words, when you do your live sessions with them is what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you do need parental permission for that.
Okay. So they didn't sign any general thing? I know in the past they've signed general releases for photography, but I guess this year you guys didn't have them sign any general releases? That'd be for Suzanne and Peggy. And
I can talk to Peggy. Maybe if there's a way we could do it without recording the meets. Well, I'll have to talk to her.
If you're obviously recording yourself and you want to share that out, that's totally fine. It's whenever there's a picture of a student that would somehow be incorporated into the video.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually share anything. Like I put it on, and then like you went in my class, I tend to probably over-explain to them how to do stuff.
Yeah.
So really, if you didn't go to the class, you could still do all the work.
Yes.
Because, it's like I explained, they have all the materials, how to get into the video. Because we're fortunate, we're one of the video classes with the Blessed. So I gave them all the pages. I said it follows along. I told them everything. Even the Joan of Arc stuff I gave them.
Yeah, and
it could easily look through. You wouldn't. I don't think. Now, of course, I don't think you'd be lost.
No,
the directions are all there.
And Kathy, what I was saying before you logged on was kind of the benefit that you do have, even though some of you are very new to Google Classroom, is that the students all used Google Classroom. Any local students used Google Classroom all spring. So they are probably more familiar with it than you realize, which is good, because they'll be able to hopefully figure their way around, especially the older kids. And I'm sure you represent all different grade levels. All right, let me start by sharing my screen.
Okay.
And you let me know in a minute if you can see this.
There it is.
Okay.
It says copy of Google Classroom tutorial.
Then we're in the right spot. Okay. So here, now this is where I know Mrs. Boy and I were talking. There apparently is some confusion. I'm not really sure what's driving that. you should see something that would say generate Meet link.
Which I clicked on, and then it
Okay.
generated the Meet link, and
Okay.
then you save it, and when you save it, you make it visible to students.
Right.
I did all that.
Okay. So say that's what she's saying, and it kind of automatically becomes visible to students, right? So what's interesting to me, which I noticed, which I've never encountered this, is this look up part here. I don't get that when I generate usually Google Meet. So I don't know if this is new. I don't know if this is something Google's been trying, but in theory, the students, once you make visible to students, should be able to see this meeting link.
Yes.
And did anybody use this? I know Mrs. Hoyt, you did this morning. Did anybody else use this morning?
I used it this morning.
I used it this morning and the link didn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. And I don't know. And I just saw that Peggy logged on. So hi, Peggy. I don't know if this is like a version of Google. I don't know if this comes with the Google Classroom that you have. It should. But, you know, I don't know if there's different levels of, like, you know, obviously I work in a school system. We have all the bells and whistles. I don't know if this has to do with somehow the version of Google Classroom you have or not. But I can show you another way to create a Google Meet, which will be very simple. So if this did not work, and it sounds like it didn't work for a couple of people, I'll show you another way to go to Google Meet. So you'll notice up here in the corner, there's this like little waffle, which is all where your Google applications are. Everybody see where I'm kind of hovering over?
Yes. Okay.
So if you come down to Google Meet and you click on Google Meet, you can start your own Google meeting automatically. Okay, so this is the one we're in now, but if I wanted to start another one, I could name it whatever I wanted. So if you were going to do it Tuesday morning, you could literally just name it Tuesday, July 21st. Okay, and hit continue. And it's going to generate a meeting link for you. Okay, you're going to join it. So now I'm in 2 Google Meets at the same time. And see where it says copy joining info?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Or you can literally just move your cursor over here, copy this,
And then put it in the stream?
and then put it in the stream.
Yeah, I did that this
Okay.
morning it worked and parents were able to get in.
Okay.
Okay.
So if the other link that we were looking at, which in theory would be the easiest thing to do, but if that's not working, this is the next easiest thing to do. Okay. So
Yeah,
now
Rebecca, I just looked at the classes I taught over the school year on Google, and we had that Meet Google lookup. And
You did.
of course, everybody in our district, all the kids have a school email on Gmail, so I never had a problem with them getting in.
that's where I'm thinking that might be the issue, is because I know that we're using parent emails because they can't use their school emails. So
Right.
that could very much be part of it. I honestly don't know, because
Yeah.
Mrs. Hoy said, like, she had 4 people join. So obviously it was working for some people. So I can't answer that. I don't know why it wasn't working, but if this Meet link is not working, because yeah, in theory, this would be great. You can use this every morning. You said to the
Yeah,
kids,
they're supposed
we're
to,
meeting at 9:30 every morning or 10:30 every morning. Just click on the Google Meet. Great. But like for me, it's not even showing up. And I know Mrs. Hoy said she has it visible to students. So I can't answer like those kind of tech questions because I'm not sure why that's happening. But that's another, like I said, way that you could get on Google Meet. So your stream, and I think most of you obviously know this, that, you know, your stream is like your main page, your home page where you can post announcements or questions to the kids. Okay. Anything that you post, whether it's in the stream or it's in classwork, the parents will get a notification on their phone that something was posted from you. Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
So, you know, for me with my 3 kids, I'm getting messages all morning, different things that are posted. So let me just.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I had my students were telling me, because I actually copied the link and posted it on stream, and they told me that they didn't see stream. They didn't see the class. I had posted a picture in my stream homepage. They didn't see that. Then they were telling me they saw the picture, but they didn't see the class code or the link for Gmail, for the Google Meet. I found that odd. It will say, no, we don't see that. We don't see the link.
Judy, do you want to send me an invitation to your class so that I can see what I see?
Sure, we could do that after the meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can hang on for a few minutes and then we'll try that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Sure. So like I said, this is kind of like your home page, your main page where you want to, you know, share information or whatever, basic things like, you know, hey, we'll be meeting at 9:30 today, whatever it is. I'll post the link, you know, 5 minutes before, okay? What I really want to focus on, honestly, is the classwork, because I think that this is where you can post things and make things a little bit easier for yourself in terms of assignments. So anything, by the way, that you post in classwork will also come up on the stream. So as soon as you create an assignment, and I'll do a mock one to show you, it will then post in the stream so that the kids, you know, and they know, again, they did this all spring, except for maybe the real little guys. So they are familiar with how this works. So if I wanted to create an assignment, okay, there's a couple of things I could do. So let me just do it, you know, testing, okay? Or let me do like, here, you know what, I'll do, yeah, let me do testing. Please answer these questions. Okay, so a couple things I can do. I can go, you can go to add. So if you've already created stuff, which I know that some of you have, or you've pulled stuff from online, okay, you can hit add, and there's a couple places you can add it from. So you can add it, if you created it in Google, you can go to your Google Drive and add it. I did a mock one, which I'll show you in a minute, okay? If there is a YouTube video or some other video that you want to show them, you can go to YouTube, but you kind of have to look it up on YouTube. To be honest with you, it's quicker if you have the link and you can just add the link, okay? I did find where St. Mary's has Radiant Joy 2020, so I assume this is where they're putting a lot of their videos and things on. You could literally, like, you know, take a video from here, click on it, or if you just wanted to direct them to this page, you can just copy this link up here, right? I can do this, copy, add link, paste, add link, okay? And that's going to bring them to that Radiant Joy YouTube homepage, okay? If there's a specific video, you put the link to the specific video. You have to click on the video first and then copy the link, okay? But I don't want to do this. So let's say I wanted to, I had a couple questions for the day that I had them watch a video. Maybe I posted the link to the video, and then I wanted them to answer questions about it. And I've created a Google Doc with questions. So I have these because I just created them and they're in my drive, or this is my recent. So anything that I've recently pulled up, as you can see, I was doing a couple of tests here. You can just go there, double click it, and questions for Tuesday 7/21 will come up. Okay, and
Now,
that's
I have a
the Google
question.
Doc.
If you
Yeah.
use this triangle, can you make it say students get their own copy, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting to. So this says
Okay.
students can view file, which is literally, and there might be a document, let's say it's with prayers, that you just want them to look at. You don't want them to do anything with. You leave it on view file. If you want them to have their own copy, you literally click make a copy for each student. Okay,
And then
because
they
this
can
is an
type
assignment.
They could type right into the assignment?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're not typing over each other.
Right.
So the problem when you have something like students can edit file, the problem with that is that they can all edit the same document, which is what you don't want. So you want to, the only time that comes in handy, and I will say this might be an option, let's say you're having them put together a Google slide presentation. Well, and you assign each kid a slide. So let's say I take my 3 kids. Ryan, you're doing slide 1. Trevor, you're doing slide 2. Sarah, you're doing slide 3. Then they know they can each go into that document and create their own slide. Maybe that's an end of the Radiant Joy project. I'm just throwing that out there. But for the most part, you're probably not going to want them to be editing the same document. So really, it'll be either students can view it, or you're making a copy that they each can turn in. So let's pretend we're making a copy that they each can turn in. What this also eliminates is them sharing things with you, because when they share things with you, you're getting a notification every time somebody shares something with you. That gets annoying, trust me, I know. So it's a lot easier because it's kind of all housed here in Google Classroom, okay? So now you don't have to worry. I don't even know if yours has this. You don't have to worry about points and all that stuff. Let's say you want to give them to the end of the week to do it. You just click on calendar. We'll say, okay, this one's due by Friday, okay? What I find is super helpful is assigning a topic. Now, the topic doesn't literally have to be daily prayers topic. I assigned in the spring things by week or by day. And for you guys, I would assume you'd really want to do it by day, right? Because this is a 2-week thing. So if you go into create topic, I would do Tuesday, oops, if I could spell, 7/21. Okay, and that would be my topic. I don't know if it lets me, hang on. Might not let me.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The comma, maybe.
Maybe it's the comma. Oh, let me see here. Oh, create topic. Maybe did I hit that? Tuesday, 7/21. I'm pretty sure I was able. I know I was able to do this before. Hang on. Of course, now it's not working for me. Why not? That's weird. I know you can do that.
Yeah.
No, because it's not even. It usually like says.
Go to assign and then hit the
Isn't that
arrow
when
there.
it shows up with a sign?
No, well, let's try it. Maybe I've been doing this too much. Let's try it. All right, so Tuesday and assign. Oh, maybe you're right. Okay. Looks like it's going. Okay. So now when you go in, let's say I want to create another topic. I can create a topic without having anything on there, but let's say you just want to set yourself up. I'm going to create a new topic. And the latest one is going to be, it's going to put the latest one you did at the top. Thursday, you get the idea. 7/23. Okay, so that's the 3 I'll do. Okay, so now you can organize whatever your videos are, your prayers of the day, your saints of the day. You can organize it by date, which I just personally found more helpful when I was organizing it in the spring. Okay, so this was our first assignment that we did. Now you'll see, this is what's nice about this. Rather than them sharing all of the things with you all the time, what you will see here is that when you assign it, who it's ever assigned to your classroom, so if you have 16, 17, 18 students, it's going to say that here. I have nobody signed up for my my class, so it says assigned to 0, okay? But it will say how many students. As the students turn it in, this is the number that's going to start going up. So once the students do their own document and turn it in, and they do that on their end, that's where you're going to see that. And then you'll be able to actually go in. Normally this will be filled with all their papers by name, and you can see what their answers are. Again, it's hard for me to show you this because I don't have anybody signed up for the class. Okay. But that's what you will see. Do you see how it posted here? Rebecca Thal posted a new assignment under testing. So that's what I mean. Everything that you put in your classwork is going to show up in your stream, and let the students know. Okay. Let's say I wanted to post something. Let's say I have something ready to go for Thursday, but I don't want to confuse the students by posting Thursday stuff today. So what I can do is I can go in, okay, and I can post an assignment again. And here, I'll show you this. Let's see. Let's say it's the questions of the day. Okay. And then you do have to have a title, and you do have to have instructions, which, a lot of the instructions are, pretty straightforward. Answer the questions, but you literally have to put something in there. So answer these questions and turn it in. Okay. So whatever your instructions are. I'm going to show you how to create the questions if you don't already have them created. But what you can do, instead of assigning it right away, you can schedule it. So if you want to do some stuff ahead of time, this comes in handy because you can literally hit schedule, you put the date, you put the time, and you hit schedule, and it'll show up gray under classwork for you. because it's not live yet, but it will show that it's kind of pending. Okay. So if I don't already have the questions created, but I want to create them, or I want to create anything, okay, I go into create, and it'll give you the option of doing a Google Doc, which is like Word, okay, Google Slides, which is the same as PowerPoint, Google Sheets, which is the same as Excel. Chances are you're not going to be using that. Google Drawings, which if you want the kids to use clip art or use speech bubbles or, you know, do anything kind of creative with shapes and things like that, and putting in drawings, and I'll show you this in a minute, Google Drawings is a good tool. And Google Forms, which I'll get to in a minute, because that's where I know a lot of you have like quizzes and stuff that you want the kids, or quick questions you want them to answer. It's a great tool, and it's a great like quick form of feedback. But let me go to Google Drawings for a minute. So
I got a beautiful family tree today by one of my students.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was amazed.
So you can, you know, let's call a family tree. Okay, so you can put family tree, and then you can ask the students to, you know, create a family tree. So you can put in, you can play with these, you know, create a little text box and say, you know, please create a family tree. Okay, again, don't underestimate them. They are very familiar with how to use these Google applications. So you don't need to go, you don't even need to worry about explaining them how to do it. Chances are they will know how to do it. If they don't, then you can say, okay, take a picture and share it. But you're trying to eliminate that as much as you can, just for your own benefit, honestly. Okay. So now I've, you know, created this. I'm letting it, you know, they can go in here. And like I said, I'm not going to show you all this, but they can go in there. They find images from the web. You know, like if I put tree, right? So they can sit there, they can insert it, they can, you know, do a whole bunch of fun stuff on their end for this. Okay. All right, so that's family tree. So now when I go back to here, I've created this. It's not quite showing up yet. It will in a few minutes. Again, you want each of the kids to have their own. Make a copy for each student. Okay. Let's say I schedule this. When did I say I was going to do this? Thursday, just to pretend. Okay, so Thursday is the 23rd. I'll post it at 8 a.m. Schedule. Okay, now I forgot to put the date. That's why it's coming up, not under Thursday 7/23, but it's coming up just under. Now I can move it. So I can take this and I can put it down under Thursday 7/23. So if you, that's the other thing you have the option of doing, is you can create different things and then you can move them around if you want to put them under a certain date. Okay. Do you see how this is gray? Because it's showing it's scheduled for July 23rd at 8 a.m. That's when it will go live. And that's when the students will be notified about it. Sometimes you might just want to assign them like material. So in other words, if like, okay, here's the saint of the day. You don't want them to do anything with it. Here it just is. Here's the saint of the day. Watch video. Okay. Again, I add whatever my YouTube video is. I've already created a few topics. Let's say it's Wednesday's saint of the day. So my topics for each date are already created. I put it under Wednesday. I don't want to post it yet. I'll schedule it for Wednesday. And now it's Wednesday, Saint of the Day.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
I set up the materials, I scheduled them, but in the materials I have a PowerPoint, well, a Google slide, and I have a Google quiz. Will they be able to answer the Google quiz even though it's under material, or no?
That's a good question.
Maybe I should just redo it so that it's under an assignment or a quiz assignment as opposed to under material.
I think what's going to happen is they will be able to do it. The difference is you're not going to see this format that I'm scrolling around.
Right.
But I'll do a Google form now so that you can see where you can see the responses to it.
Okay.
So let's say I'm going to create material for tomorrow. I'm going to create, so like I said, if you just want to ask them a question, like literally, it's like, you know, what 3 things are you thankful for? Okay. Again, answer the question. Make sure you include 3 things because they'll just do 1 if they could. 3 things. Okay, so that's your instructions. You can have them do this in short answer. If you had a multiple choice question, like let's say you were trying to test them, like who was the saint of the day? Did you really watch the video? You could make it multiple choice and have like 4 different saints on there, and then they have to see if they can, identify who was the saint of the day. So again, you can do this. It's the same format in terms of due date. It could be no due date. Usually you're not putting points. You might not even have that as an option. Topic, again, whatever day you want to post that, under, it just helps to keep the work a little more organized. Let's put it that way. Okay. And then ask, schedule, save as draft. Okay. So that's question. Let me go to show you the Google form. All right. So let's say we're doing an assignment, and here is quiz 1. Instructions, please complete the Google form for chapters 1 through 3. Okay. All right, so we go to create forms. Okay. Again, it's going to automatically, rather than what this saves is you don't have to kind of go into your drive and create something and then attach it all the time. If you've already done that, great. But you can literally and you'll find it in your Google Drive. Like it'll just create it right on the spot here. Okay. So let's call this chapters 1 through 3. Okay. And then you make the questions. So I don't know, somebody give me a random question. Anybody?
How many?
Who is the Son of God?
What was it, Brian? I'm sorry.
Who is the Son of God?
Okay. Who is the Son of God? Okay, so again, you have the choice of doing multiple choice, short answer. Nobody's going to want to be reading paragraphs. Trust me, they won't write paragraphs anyway. So you're better off with short answer, multiple choice. I don't think you need the check down or the drop down boxes, but if you wanted to get fancy, you could. You can insert pictures. Okay, so. Eli Manning, you could make funny answers if you wanted to add another. Okay. So add other option, add other option, add an option. You could do, Jesus, obviously. You could then, if you see how it keeps adding options as you click on that, right? You could do, let's just do Moses. Okay. And then this down here means that the question is required. Like, in other words, you want them to be able to answer it, okay? So you want that to be whatever purple. You can change the color of this. You could do all sorts of like fun things, but if you just want to keep it basic, just whatever color it comes up with, okay? And then this automatically, like if I hit this because it didn't have a title before, it'll just kind of automatically default to whatever you titled it up top, okay? Then when I want to add another question, I'm going to click the plus button, okay, for add question. All right. And then notice this red asterisk. That means that the question is required. In other words, you can't skip it. In order to be able to turn in the Google form, you have to answer the question, okay? And it'll notify them if they did not, okay? So, how many commandments are there? Okay, and then we'll do 7,
40.
12, 40, 10. Okay, and then that's again we want it to be required question. This is if you literally had a similar question, you can literally just like duplicate this question and maybe change the answers, or maybe you were keeping all of these the same. But you were just, all the options the same, but you were just changing the question. So sometimes duplicating a question.
How many years did they wander in the desert?
Yeah. So right, exactly. So that's a good one. How many years did they wander in the desert? Okay. And you can also, if you wanted to, and like I said, I don't want to get too fancy to confuse people, but you can also like mix up the order if you wanted to, so that it didn't look quite so obvious that they were the exact same choices. You could move around the answers. Okay. All right. So let's say that was our 3 questions. Okay. And here is, now this is not going to give you the option to, make a copy for every student, because the students are kind of expected that they're already going to be filling it out themselves. What I should say is that one of the things that I should add, what I should have said that you add in here, hold on, is that you do want them to put their name, because that's going to be a big one. So if I wanted to say, now this I want to be like short answer, right? Please give your first and last name. And you're probably going to want that to be first, right? So you're going to want to take this. Anytime you see kind of one of these little waffle, whatever you want to call them, for lack of a better, Legos, for lack of a better word, you can kind of take this and drag this up to the top. All right, because you do want that to be the first thing. Normally what I'm able to do, because my students all have their own school email, is I can go into settings, okay? And I can, which you might want to try this, and I'll tell you why in a minute, collect email addresses. Because what happens is that the kids forget to put their name on everything. I mean, when we have paper, they forget to put their name on paper. So you really can't expect that they're always going to remember to even put their name on the Google form. So what will end up happening is you'll get a bunch of responses back, but you're not going to know who they're from if they didn't fill out the first part with their name. Okay. So if I just go into settings, which is that little kind of like wrench looking, or, you know, nut and bolt kind of looking thing, and I hit collect email addresses, that should collect the parent email addresses. So you at least can associate what kid, you know, goes with what email address. And then you know who responded and who didn't, if that's, you know, something you want to collect and make sure that they're doing. Okay. So that kind of is a safety net for if they do not fill this out. All right. And then what happens is when the kids do start filling it out, you as a teacher get this part. So you see this, you see responses, and you'll be able to go in and you'll literally be able to see what they all responded to the questions. So it'll have like their email address. You end up downloading it to, you can, if you want, download it to a Google spreadsheet, but you'll be able to see who responded to what question. This is a quick, easy way to assess. It can be intimidating at first. And if you wanted to try one out on me and ask if the format seemed okay, I'd be more than happy to do that. So don't worry. But all they see is the questions. You as the creator of the document see the responses. Okay.
Hey, Becky, can I ask a question / maybe throw something in? If you go to that cog, the thing, that thing, settings, you see how it says require sign-in restrict to users in hazard public schools organizations? So would that throw kids off? Because I mean, if they're not in the St. Mary's, if they don't have a St. Mary church,
I don't know what this looks like.
You have to choose it, and then you choose it again, and it lets you make it available to everyone with a link. Probably isn't the best way to do that either, but
I just did this to show you. I do not want to restrict it to users in Hazle Public Schools.
Right.
But that's what mine says. Obviously, yours is. I don't know if yours is going to say restrict to St. Mary's.
it does.
It does.
It does. Okay.
It does. Yeah, I had to do that this morning.
You're not going to want. You're going to want to unclick that.
Right. Yeah.
So that you can get a Yahoo user or another Gmail user or some other user. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I know I did that in the spring when I was doing my test classes for regular school, and I had to take off the barring of it from my district so my daughters could be my test cases. Once I did that, it was fine.
Okay.
They could get in and do my test class and stuff. And then, collect email address, like you said, would be very, very good. Also, if you're with the quizzes, you will want to click limit to one response. I mean, it depends what you're looking for. I mean, obviously in a regular classroom, I'm looking for one response only.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
For
then-
this, you
and then
might
after
not.
submit.
If you want to give the kids a second chance, if you're like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's up to you.
you're just guessing. Can you please try to do this again? You're right. It really depends on kind of what your level of.
It depends what you're looking for, since we don't really give grades, but
Right.
you don't want them like constantly doing it. You know, it's up to you. And then there is where you can stop accepting responses as well. I think it's like where you go to responses, and if you want to turn it off the quiz, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can turn it off as well.
Well, that's just it. You can also, like, I don't usually make these quizzes because then if it's a quiz, it'll be graded and it'll be like, I kind of leave this for you guys. I wouldn't even worry about this, but
Right.
it's like, I was playing around with this in the spring as well, Kathy. And it was like, you know, then you're right. It's locked. Either they get their grade back. I don't think you need necessarily all that. So you can just leave this. I wouldn't worry about that. But that's
Yeah,
why
I was gonna say, yeah, it depends what people are looking for. I mean, like, I know, like when you said like the ungraded on some of the stuff, and again, that's up to somebody. Like today's, they had 15 questions, and then I asked them to do a St. Joan of Arc medal. So I gave it 20 points. Am I gonna take off? No, but
Right.
it's sometimes I think also it's like if they see it ungraded, you know, like, oh, there's no, oh, then okay, I don't have to.
Yeah, I think
So, I
for
mean-
the older kids, it's obviously definitely more of an issue because they know their way around things like that.
But I have,
So
I have like second graders to be, and some of them are pretty savvy. I could see them going,
Yeah.
oh, well, it's ungraded, so what's the...
Yeah. So if you don't have that, you know, then it's not a quiz. If you do have this linked, and you can just go down and kind of see what they can say.
If you leave it as a quiz though, and mark to not show the grade, then they can see if they got it right or wrong. So if you put it back as a quiz and it says the respondent can see, if you scroll down, you want them to see the missed questions and the correct answers, but not the point values. And then that way they'll know if they got the answers right.
Yep.
Yeah, which would be, yeah.
We're not really going back and going over it with them. So that's the only way for them to know if they got the right answer.
Yeah, and you're right. If you take out the points value, then you're probably better off. Yeah.
Can I just ask a really quick question? I had some difficulty because they couldn't use their school, Google accounts. The parents created new accounts for them, and they used student accounts, like child accounts. So YouTube is blocked for some of them. They were unable to view the videos that were posted because of the parent controls, and I'm trying to figure out how I can repost those videos so that they can access them. Some of the parents just went back into the classroom using their own email and they were able to see them. But the videos that I posted were using
Regular YouTube.
ViewPure. So you can put the videos into ViewPure and then put a new link. But apparently some of the parents that had child accounts for their kids, so if they're under 13, they can't view the YouTube videos that are posted.
Gotcha.
Catherine, what grade do you teach?
First grade.
Oh, first grade. Okay. My daughter's in sixth grade and she's having the same exact issue.
Right. I did see a couple of people posting that as well in one of the Google Classrooms today.
It's only 2 kids in my class. Everyone else is using their adult account. So for my own son who's in my class, I created an account using my birthday for him so that he could have a parent, like an adult account, and view everything. But it's blocked for some of the kids. So my videos I'm kind of changing so that they can view them. I hear if you go through YouTube Kids, it will work. You have to post it through YouTube Kids. But I don't really know, like the ones that the church is doing are through regular YouTube. So they may not be able to view those.
We have to remember that the parents are the faith formation teachers, the first faith formation teachers for the children. So if they're not sitting there with the children, helping them with getting onto YouTube, that's not really our problem. Like the parents should be sitting there, especially for the first graders.
It's true, but it's actually blocked for them. They can't view it on their.
Yeah, I can't get on it at all. Even on my computer, I can't do it. So I guess that's still her account.
Yeah, it would have to be through your adult account. I see what you mean. I don't think there is a way around that if you're logging in as your student or as with a kid account.
Right.
Suzanne, that might need to be something that goes out because there have been a few comments and nobody knows how to get around it. I wouldn't have known that if Catherine didn't say that. It has to be from an adult account.
I think there were some people thought it was because of the device they were using, but I actually think it's because of the account.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
I think it is too.
So I don't know if you're familiar with View. Did it again? View Pure.
No, I'm not.
It's free. It's a website. So if you go to View Pure and then you put the YouTube link in View Pure, it'll give you
yeah, somebody did tell me about this one time. Okay, yes.
a new link that I think would then be accessible by children.
Okay.
That would be much easier if the teachers did that instead of.
But it's a lot of work because all 10 days have been done for me, and now I'll go back in and have to redo everything. But I want them all to be able to see it, obviously.
The only other thing I would suggest is if you have, the videos, if you ask, do you have the parent account? You have the parent email account?
So some parents signed up as their own email and made student accounts or child accounts for their kids.
Okay, because the only other thing I say is if you could get, and I'm sure it's not a lot of the kids and it would be extra work, certainly, which I'm not trying to create for you, but the only thing I would say is each day, if you have the YouTube videos, just to send those to the parents' adult email account, just say, here are the videos for today.
Yeah, that'd probably be a lot easier, right, for you than to go through View Pure. Or.
Right, yeah.
But then we have to just tell all of the teachers who are doing that to do it.
I guess maybe the easiest thing to do is have, we can email our class or post something under announcements in our class and just say if you're using a child account and need a different, link to let us know. And then that way we're not doing it for everyone. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 kids in the class.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. But it does exist in school because they all had school accounts, which were, controlled by the school. And now it's everybody.
Well, I'll tell you, we even encountered this morning where my oldest, who's going into 8th grade, said that he could, because I said, fire up your Chromebook again, which I thought he was like, what? It was like, for what? And I said, Radiant Joy starts tomorrow. Brian, I think the only thing that really got him out of bed was that you were his teacher, because he was at least excited to connect with you again. So, but he said he was not able to actually, because I signed them up through my personal Gmail account, not my school. But he said he wasn't even able to log on using my Gmail account on his school computer.
Right.
So I had to use another laptop for that. So that's a little glitch we didn't even expect. So, anyway, so like I said, you can either add things that you've already created or found, or you can create material right from scratch. With any of these drop downs, and it will automatically save it to your drive. So let me pull it up because this is actually going to be my school drive, but I'll just show you quickly that anything that I just created, you see how it comes up? This is like my recent things that I just created. So it's kind of all at, all at the top. So it's not that you've created it and then can't find it again. It is saved in your Google Drive. And we'll just, it doesn't really matter, but like I said, I can schedule this if I want, or let me see what happens when we do save draft. So anything that, again, is a draft that I haven't 100% done anything with is going to be saved right at the top here. Okay. So draft, it'll tell you it's a draft. You haven't finished it. You can either edit it. You decide you don't want it. You can delete it. If I want to move it under a particular day, I've decided I want to do this Wednesday, I can just pick it up and drag it down to Wednesday.
You still have to unmake it a draft, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go back in and edit it and do whatever you want with it. You can move it up or down. So even within a day, if there's something that you want, if you always want to start with a prayer of the day and a saint of the day, and you want those to be first, you can move these up and down within the day. So if you want the saint and the prayer to always be at the top, that's all you have to do. These three little dots here, move it up or move it down. And then again, anything that we've done, Now, sometimes I will say Google Classroom can be a little funny. You kind of have to update, reload your page sometimes. But since this was the only thing that I posted that was live, quote unquote, this is the only thing that's showing up right now. Remember that everything else we kind of scheduled for a later date. So that's why this is showing up blue. That means it's live and the kids can see it. And all of this gray are all things that, you know, well, this one's still in draft form and this one's still in draft form, but it will tell you this is scheduled for the date and the time. This is scheduled for the date and the time. Does that make kind of sense?
Well, also with the stream, I found that you can actually schedule that too. Like if you want to make an announcement.
Yep.
I
So
found
if
that
you
out
want
this
to say,
spring.
you
Like,
know,
oh, okay, I can schedule
happy,
it.
you know, and I would, you know, again, I would usually always start out every day of the spring. You know, it was Tuesday, 7/21. You know, good morning, blah 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 blah. You're right, Kathy, right? And then you post whatever you
Yeah.
want. If you want to add a link to something, you can. You don't have to.
Right.
But then you go to this drop down. Thanks for reminding me of that, right? So now it's schedule. Okay, well, I don't want them to see this again until tomorrow. And, you know, 8 a.m. is fine. You know, you're going to get kids who are up early. Maybe they want to get started on stuff. But if you really don't want it to go off till 9, you just change,
Right.
you change the time. So if I really don't want this to be till 9 a.m., I'm going to change it to 9 a.m. and schedule. And this should also, see where it says saved announcement?
Yeah. That's, yeah.
That's where it is. If you don't like your announcement, you want to redo it, you know, you can pull it up, you can click on it, and you can edit it before it goes live. Or if you just wanted to trash it, you just trash it.
Yeah, because again, that's just me. But like today was some of the second graders. I don't know if it's through brothers and sisters or whatever. They're like, "Oh, I already saw that," and I'm like, "Oh, you're ahead of the game." They go, "What game?" And I'm like, "So I mean, I'm also like, you know, I'm like, I don't want people, you know, getting up at 6, and you know, sitting there doing everything, and then I get to hear, you know, I was only on for about an hour with them, you know, I did that, I did, like, you know, could you?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So sometimes, and I learned that too. Trust me.
Yeah.
And you know, it was like, you know, sometimes you'd post stuff the night before, and you'd have these kids that were up early, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, 7:30, and I'm just getting my coffee, and they're like, I have a question, and I'm like, already? Like, so yeah, if you really don't want it to, if you know, you don't want them to see till 9 a.m., then and you can even do like 8:47. I mean,
Right.
it's like you can pick any kind of odd time that you want. It doesn't have to be like on the hour. Or maybe it's 10 minutes before 9.
It's kind of like that. I'm a substitute teacher, and when the teachers would post the classwork assignment for the day, sometimes they would post it the night before, and then the kids would come to class and like, oh, I did all that already. So now they're all talking to each other. And, you know,
Right.
not an optimum situation.
No, not at all. Yeah.
That's where scheduling does come in handy.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe all of you are not vampires like I am, but if you're planning very late at night, like around midnight, let's say, and it changes to midnight, you be very careful of the date. Like
Yes.
if you had planned last night, and it went after midnight, it'll automatically start assigning for Tuesday. And because I did have that happen during the spring, when I was working 16-hour teacher days, and my students were like, I can't see it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And it's because it was programmed. I mean, you would just go back in and see when you did it, and you can reverse it. But, you know, you might think, oh, I did it, and it's good. And you probably did do it, and you did it well, except for just those are some of the glitches that I'm sure like Rebecca and other people ran into.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing did happen to me. It kind of automatically defaults to the next day.
To the next day. Yeah, so if you
wanted to create something and save it for like later in the morning, you're right. You have to check that date to make sure it's that day. Which by the end of 2 weeks, you're going to be wondering what day it is. So, and then anything that is due, and again, the students are used to seeing this. Like if you wanted, like okay, or if you just wanted to make everything due, you know, by the last day of Radiant Joy, you could do that too. It's you don't even have to have due dates if you don't want them. It's not necessary. So, anyway, that's kind of if there's specific questions, I'm happy to answer them, or like people are jumping in with stuff that's helped them, that's perfect too. So,
can I just say what Catherine, you were totally right. because I was just doing that. I went on to my personal and I put it on, and the YouTube are coming up, no problem.
Yeah, so it has to be, I don't know if there's a way to go under the parental controls for your child's account and allow YouTube videos. If we found that out, then we could just tell the parents to do that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, and because I know 6th grade had about 4 or 5 different assignments with videos today that they had to watch, that she now has to watch because we couldn't figure it out. So thank you so much, Catherine. That was it.
No problem.
And then sometimes I was just going to say, so it depends on how you want to organize your things. Like sometimes, you know, if it's helpful to you, people want to kind of, you can create all of your stuff for the day, and maybe you don't make it like individual assignments or maybe you just make it material, end of discussion. And you can still create like a Google document for kids to answer questions if you just want to put all of your stuff in one thing for the day. So you don't have to break it up. You can put, and I did see a couple people do that. They added like a couple of links for videos, then they created a Google Doc to go with it, and it was just kind of everything. It's really a matter of personal preference, quite honestly.
Actually, Rebecca, this might be an advanced question. For the drawings on Google, for the drawing app, are they able to color online?
They can, so you can, let's see, they can do text boxes, images, if they put in a shape.
But I couldn't like insert an image of a coloring page and then say, hey, color it online.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Just wondered. I mean, like I said, I know it's an advanced question, so it's not, you know.
I mean, you could have the, you know, well, again, because you're not talking about like little boxes and stuff. You're talking about, you know.
Yeah, it's an actual coloring page that we would, you know, like we would use in Sunday Scripture.
I mean,
I found one for St. Philomena.
They do have like a free form tool.
Yeah, but I couldn't find anything with
highlight color. I don't think so, to be honest with you.
I mean, I said to them today, like when they did their Joan of Arc medal, I said, if you know how to do this online, great. If you need to print it out, great. If you got to draw it on a piece of paper and send the picture in, great. I said, don't care. And a couple of them supposedly had how to do it, so I'll have to ask them.
Maybe if you open it in Paint.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they can do like a scribble in colors. But that
would take forever. For them anyway, yeah.
Anybody else have any other specific questions that I could answer? I mean, I'm certainly not a Google expert by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like little things that I've played around with, you know, by default. It was baptism by fire, so to speak, this spring.
Oh, yeah.
We were all, you know, I mean, I did stuff with Google Classroom before, but I definitely did a lot more this spring. So,
yes.
So like I said, I'm going to send Peggy, I'm going to upload this to my own YouTube, and then I'll post the link to it. So, you know, if you have any questions or want to go back and look at stuff, but feel free to email me at my personal email, which is Reb Murphy Thal. So REBMURPHYTHAL@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer questions. And Judy, you want to hang on with me so that I can answer your questions? Okay. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Rebecca. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, Kathy. It was good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. I'm just going to stop recording, Judy, but I'll still be on. Okay.